Everyone, Doug here. I do love to play Pot Limit Omaha High-Low Poker. It's also called PLO8. Some people call it Pot Limit Omaha 8 or better. I do play on America's Card Room. There's a lot of good PLO8 action, particularly tournament action. I want to go back and let's take a look at one of the first streams that I did playing poker on America's Card Room, playing PLO8. It was a turbo tournament, and we made the final table. This final table was noteworthy for a few different reasons. We had to play a large variety of styles, defensive styles being short stacked and taking the offensive when we had a larger stack. And we also got to meet some regular opponents that we'll be seeing in future episodes quite a bit for the first time, most notably player The Valone, who was an excellent PLO8 player, and we really got to feel each other out, and it was our first time playing hands heads up. So without any further ado, let's get to the action on the tables. This is the final table that we are at, and there are 5 places paid. And again, I am in second place. To my right is the VULONE, the Vulone, who has a massive 260,000 chip stack. So we're all just, being careful around the big stack, who has just busted out Joe Marcoux. So now we are 8-handed, and the rich get richer, as they say. So here we have ace 3 6 king with a suited ace. This is a phenomenal starting hand. Any raise that happens, we will call. Let's see what the big stack does. Are they going to try and bully and make a raise because of their... Nope, they're not. All right, now we are just going to check here. I'm not a big fan of building huge pots pre-flop in general. I'm going to check here and see what happens on the flop. So we get ace 3 4 5, we get 8 4 5 on the flop. Ace 2 would be obviously the best low here. So we're looking for a 2, which would also give us a 6 high straight. We're looking for running hearts, which give us an ace high flush. So this is tricky though, because if someone bets the pot, they probably have ace deuce. But now, okay, look at this. Everything has now changed in this hand. We now have a 3 4 5 6 7. We also have the best flush draw, and we have the second low. No one bet the flop, so we're going to make a bet here, because typically an ace 2 will put something out in this particular situation. So we're going to put a bet out here, and quite frankly, I can't fold here. If it's raised, I still have to call because I've got so many outs here to improve my hand. The hand does not improve. So what beats us? An ace deuce with a higher straight. We're just going to check. I don't want to lose my whole stack here. So you basically need 3 to 4 perfect cards to scoop me. I probably have half of it. I feel pretty confident. I could have all of it. It's conceivable they don't have an ace 2. So we're definitely going to call 27K here. Let's see what they've got. They've got ace 4 6 6. So yes, it is a chop pot. I actually took the low, and they had a better straight, and that's fine. And we still did pretty good there. So it's kind of how I figured it was going to be. Ace 2, 10, 7. No suited ace, but we got an ace 2 with a couple middle cards. Okay, this is pretty decent. I would call a raise with this. I wouldn't go all in with it, but I'd call a raise. And it looks like that's what I'm going to have to do here to see a flop. It's going to cost us 11,000 chips, and we will go ahead and do that. And we have a short stack, so we might end up having to call that too. Not thrilled about it, but it is what it is. All right, flop comes down 8 queen queen. We completely missed that one. We completely missed that. And I don't think I'm going to get tricky with this one, because I can't be confident that I can get Pooter to fold out if I bluff at it. I have a funny feeling I probably can't. And making that little small stabby bet implies that they've got something here that they like. I have no real room for improvement, so we're going to let go of that. I'm not looking to see if I can get, running Jack King or something like that. No. And we are down to 6 players, which is now the bubble. So one more person will bust out and unfortunately not go to the pay window, and the rest of us will. as we are now in the big blind with a garbage hand. Thankfully, we were not raised by the chip leader. We're going to check, and we're going to see, oh, we got ourselves an open-ended straight draw. And thankfully, I'll get a free turn card to see if we can't get that to come in. We check, and the turn is a 6. That does us no good. We don't have a low because we don't have 2 low cards. But our opponent has checked to us, but we're not going to get too crazy with the big stack. So we're going to check back and hope that maybe we can get that straight to come in on the river. And the river is a 3, so we have nothing. We have no pair. We have king high. And that means, obviously, as you might imagine, we are going to fold. We did not get there, but it also didn't cost us a lot. So we are grateful for that. 3, 5, 6, 7. We have all low cards that work well together, so we're going to limp in and see if we can't get a cheap flop. I'm hoping not to have to pay a lot for it. I wouldn't want to. So we're going to try and see if we can sneak in and get something to happen here. And 8, 5, 8 comes down. We have a straight flush draw. We have an open-ended straight flush draw. We have, straight draws, but of course it's a paired board, so straights don't really mean a lot. The straight flush obviously does, but you always have to worry about full houses here. A paired board really changes what you should be thinking in terms of your expectations and how you value the potential hand you can make here. It's right there alongside my lesson about how you overvalue things from Hold'em. We're just going to check back here. Pot control. For all I know, someone could be sitting on a full house and just waiting for me to try and take a stab at it. So here the 7 comes in, so there is potential for lows. I have a crappy low. I have 2 pair. I honestly, I'm not in love with this. I might have some piece of it, but I'm not in love. Checking it back, and indeed, in fact, we had a chop pot. So it's really, Arn is the one that's really kind of going to be under the gun here. No pun intended, because they are going to need to double up quickly. If they go around another loop, that will cost 12,000 chips. That'll leave them down to, just over 3 bets. Just the kind of spot where, you're going to have to go all in and probably face multiple callers, which you're not going to want. 7, 3, 8, 10. That's an easy fold. And interestingly, so it's like the middle of the pack. The 2nd through 5th place were all kind of the same chip stack. So you've got a guy with a huge stack on the top. The 4 of us are like in the middle, and then you have a short stack. And that's the kind of situation where you probably don't see a whole heck of a lot of aggression. If you see aggression here, it's from the big stack, and quite frankly, the big stack should be exercising considerably more aggression than they are. If I was in that spot, I would be putting a lot more pressure on the table because no one really wants to go out on the bubble, right? And when you have a really big stack on a bubble spot, you almost always see extreme aggression. In this case, I am quite surprised that the big stack has been very conservative / a little bit passive. So here we have, finally, it's like perhaps the V1 is watching the stream, because now there's the aggression we were talking about. It's kind of interesting. Like, I'm wondering, perhaps that's why they're not bullying me. They can see my cards. We have not, look, this is kind of a smaller stakes thing. We haven't really set up a delay or anything. And if somebody stumbled on us that's at this table, then good, bully on you, man. Great. We will, of course, obviously be tweaking this and getting it set up properly so it's like on a proper delay. But here, EFC 1878 busts out, and that little icon means we are now in the money. So we're all going to profit today. So there we go. Congratulations to us. We've made another cash. Well, I guess it's our first YouTube cash. So there you go. First stream, first cash. So there we go. We currently have a perfect record at making the money in a tournament for each stream on YouTube. And don't necessarily think that's going to be permanent, but There you go. Okay, so we're going to limp in here. We have 3 low cards, and we're getting like, what, 5-1? So, yeah, sure. Ace 3-8, not a terrible flop for us. Obviously, 2-4 has us crushed. We're going to let's just check. Let's see what develops here. There's heart draws potential. We would love to see a cheap turn and get a 4 on the turn. Obviously, that's our dream situation here. A bet and a call. That doesn't feel great. I am getting about 6-1 on my money, but I'm looking for... Here's the thing. I only have 4 outs, right? I only have 4 cards that improve me. So I have roughly 16% equity in this pot, and I'm not quite getting the right price. It's so marginal, but I'm not really getting the right price to chase it down, so I'm going to fold here. Because I can't really improve on the high, and I've got the second low, and I figure with all these people in, somebody more likely than not, when there's 3 other opponents, that somebody's got the best low. I mean, and maybe they don't, but, you know, technically you see that more often than not. So I won't be upset if I was wrong, but in the long term, it's kind of an assumption you can safely make. And it's more often than not correct. So anyhow, we got an all-in on the turn and a call. So there's a 2-5, and we have, it looks like we're going to have a chop pot. Tough spot. 4-9 queen king. I'm going to make a call. I'm hoping to get a cheap flop here. I can't call a raise, but I'm hoping to get a cheap flop. We do. Ace 8-9. Tricky spot. If the opponent had an ace, they probably would have raised. I'm going to go ahead. I have a gut shot. I basically have a gut shot here. I don't feel like it's quite ready to try and steal this pot, though. We get checked back. Now another ace comes on the turn. So now I'm almost certain that Arn does not have an ace. So here's where we're going to try to steal it by putting in a bet, because it's going to be tough for them to call without an ace unless they have a diamond draw or a great low draw. So we're going to find out if they have a diamond draw or a great low draw. But if they don't, they're going to fold. And they fold. We have a 9 king king 3 here with double suited kings. But that 3 is a dangler. I mean, the 9 and the 3 are basically danglers. This is a case of, it's really just a pair of kings. But it's not going to cost me anything to see a flop. So obviously we will. And we get queen 4-8 on the flop with 2 spades. So we have a king high flush draw. Not a heck of a lot else going for us here. Honestly, not super in love with this. I'm glad that the short stack checked. An 8 on the turn. So if neither opponent has an 8, we may be pretty good with the kings and the 8s. But there's still obviously potential low draws out there. So again, you know, I'm so shallow on chips. I don't really have a lot of room to play with. 5 on the river, so unless someone has a suited ace of spades, I have a good flush. But again, the board is paired, right? So the second best flush, even the ace high flush, it's hard for me to get excited with a paired board because someone could be kind of trying to trap me with a full house here. And so we're just going to check here. If Arn shoves the 24K, yeah, that can be a low. I don't know that he's going to wait on a full house, maybe? I don't think he's got the ace-high flush. That probably would have gotten more chips in pre-flop. I'm ruling that out. So he either has a low or he has a boat. And I feel lows are going to jam here a lot to try and steal. There's a lot of probability of stealing. If I'm wrong, I still have 35,000 chips, by the way, if he's got the boat. So we're going to call. And ace 3, 3, 7. So it is, in fact, a case where he had the low, as I suspected. All right. And so by calling, too, I denied him the ability to double up. And now he continues to be, you know, in the danger zone. And there's just a call here. I'm going to make the call, too. And the idea here is if he jams, we can both call. So 2 queen 7 on the flop. That really has nothing for me. So we don't really have a scenario where we can continue with this hand. Ace on the turn. We have an ace 2-4-7 draw. Yuck. Again, there's really nothing here for us. So, yeah, I can't really see myself continuing. And an ace on the river. We don't have a low. We do not have a 5-card low. We have a pair of 2s. Yeah, we have nothing. We have absolutely nothing here. Any pocket pair beats us. Any queen, any 7, any ace. And Arn goes all in, which means he is about to triple up to 66-9 because I can't call this bet. I have nothing. So there you go. And so now I, unfortunately, am in the unenviable position of being the short stack. However, here's our final stand. We have ace 2-10-6 with a suited ace. So we are going to raise here and try and get all our chips in. This is our best shot to double up, so we're going to have to see what we can do. Pooter will either put me all in or fold. They're not just going to call, not likely to just call. And we get the fold. So we will get it through, and we'll at least get ourselves out of last place. And despite the fact that the first 2 minutes of this stream were mute, I'm sure that will do wonders for our prospects, for people to stick with the video on demand. I mean, let's face it, nobody's going to watch the video on demand because no one's going to sit through 2.5 minutes to see if I figure out my microphone. Okay, so we have a straight draw here, the Broadway draw, as it were. We also have a short stack, and it's like we can't really stab at this because it's pretty much we're all in or folding if this starts getting pricey. So 12,000. Oh, boy. So now we're getting 5-1 on a straight draw. That's super attractive, actually. So I'm going to have to make the call here. And there we go. Gin, the turn card is a 9. So now we have the best possible hand. However, there is a flush draw out there. However, we need to just get our chips in and hope that we can get it through. They immediately both fold, so we get through. Yeah, you can't be afraid there. You've got to be willing to go all in with your opponent drawing to a flush. That's no different from Hold'em, I guess. But no one had a flush draw, and so therefore no one was going to go with us. And here we have a raise from Pooter and a call. I have 2-4-7-10, and that's going to be a ticket to sit out and watch these guys fight it out. What will Arn do here? Let's find out, and then there's a fold. Jack 7-9 comes on the flop. And Pooter goes all in and gets a call. And we have the flush draw from the VULO1 and a low. Yep, no, that's going to be a scoop, actually. That is a scoop. Pooter is gonzo. And we are down to 4 players left in the tournament. We have ace 7, 8, 10 on the button. Not quite the hand I want to go with. And now we continue to figure out who will be probably safe to bet that VU alone will be heads up with one of the 3 of us. And if that's the case, we're going to find out which one of us is going to get that far. We shall see what we shall see shortly. And it looks like this hand's going to get checked down. 3-2-4-2 in my big blind. That's a great starting hand four-handed here. If it's raised, we're going to call the raise. We can expect if Palsy folds, I will probably get raised by VU loan because it's called exerting pressure, but we will call the raise. Oh, no, just a call. So they must have 4 crappy cards, but let's see what the flop comes down. So we got ace 7-9, so we have a low draw. And it is checked to us, so we are going to check back and try and get a low card on that turn. And we get a king. That does not help us in any way, shape, or form. So we have nothing unless we get a low card on the river. And another king on the river. Not a good rollout for us. We have kings and deuces, but if he has a 7, a 9, an ace, a king, or any pair higher than the deuces, we are no good, so we're going to check back. And they show us queen, 9-3, so better pair. So, yeah, we did. That was not a hand that we should have been putting money in. Ace, queen, 4, 5. 3 low cards. Again, we're going to call. We need to see the flop here. And let's see what we've got. Arn has to make the decision to check or raise. And there's a check. 2, 8, 9. So we have a low draw. It was not raised pre-flop, so it's not likely that an ace-3 is out there. But we only have a low draw. We don't have a high, potential high hand here. And let's see what we've got here. What will VU Loan do? Going into the time bank on this one. That's always interesting. So there's some sort of thought process going on here. That typically, I think we can rule out they're having nothing whatsoever. Okay, so turn card is the 3, so we have the best low. And this is the kind of spot where you can't really worry too much about getting quartered. You've got to turn the aggression factor up. And we also have a spot where an ace and a 4 actually give us a wheel. So we have a wrap draw to a wheel. So we have to get the aggression going here. We can't get, no matter what card comes on the river, we're going to have a share of the low guaranteed because we've got that 5 with it. And we actually would love an ace or a 4 on the river. So we're going absolutely nowhere here. We're going to call any bets. We're happy to get all our chips in if we have to. But it's just going to be me and Arn. Arn is all in. So let's see what Arn's got. 3-3, queen, queen. But we get the ace on the river for the wheel. And we have scooped Arn and knocked him out of the tournament. 4-7, 6 king. This is a spot where I would call. I'd probably even have to go with it if they shove, because I do have a couple low cards. I've got a suited king. Okay, so here I'm not gonna put you all in. I'm just gonna call and see if the flop connects with us in some meaningful way. 3, 8, jack. So what sucks about this is a hand I can fully expect Paul Z to bluff at with a low draw, but I can't call because I have a terrible low and I have no real high draw here. So I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to let this one go. This is not going to be the hand to try and go with, and realize I just gave you I gave Paul Z another 30,000 chips, but yeah, better that than a full double up. 3-3 jack 8 is crap. We're going to let go of that one. So there you go. 4-6-9 on the flop here. Paul Z's first to act again. Makes a bet. And VU Loan is going to fold. VU Loan is playing very carefully here, which is a little unusual for someone with a huge lead like this. You usually see a very aggressive style. But we are seeing the opposite. And yeah, just a call, no raise, no pressure put on me here. Queen 3-10 on this flop. I do have the straight draw. So I'm gonna make a little bet here. See what happens. Into the time bank and the fold. He gets through. I was curious to see if there would be like some pushback, a 3-bet. No, it got through. So this player is being very, very tight for a big chip leader, 3-way. Very interesting. It's an interesting approach. Let's see what Paul Z does with the option. Checks, and we get a 2-6 jack flop with 2 low cards, so not happy with that. That doesn't really do anything for me. The pair of jacks doesn't mean a heck of a lot to me right now. Okay, so now the situation has changed. I have a big wrap draw. So I think we're going to put some pressure on here with a 3/4 pot size bet and see how Paul Z reacts to it. Oh, Paul Z goes all in. Oof. This is a big decision here. This is a big decision because if my wrap comes in, I'm heads up. If I'm wrong, I still have 80,000 chips. And they could be going just on a low draw. So my jacks could also potentially be good. So I feel I have to make this call. If I'm wrong, I still have 80,000 chips. I could have a draw to scoop. Queen 6-3-3. The 10 comes. That gives us the straight, and we bust out Palsy. We are now heads up. We are now heads up with VU1, and we're only 60,000 chips apart. We're going to call the small blind here. 3-7-10 on the flop. That doesn't do a heck of a lot of good for us. We're going to check back here. The king on the turn gives us 2 pair now. These initial hands of heads up will be very interesting to see if we're going to get some more aggression, if the gears are going to get turned. We are going to make a bet here to kind of see what's going on in VU1's head here. We do have 2 pair, and we get the fold. So we are very close in chips now. King, king, ace 5. It's an amazing starting hand for heads up. And we get the fold. We get the walk. Very interesting. Boy, I know this is weird, but I almost wonder if this person's watching. It's like they're making soul reads here. 4-5 king. So this is another decent flop for us. I think we're going to try applying pressure here and see where or when we start getting pushback. We get the call. 5 on the turn. So we have the 5. This is an interesting spot. I'm going to check back and see if the river gets us a full house. We get a jack, so we do get a low full house. We get 5s full of jacks. There are no lows out there. And I am going to bet at this. Again, we're going to keep applying some pressure here. And we get the fold. So, believe it or not, we're now the chip leader. Heads up. VU1 is definitely not... Has been playing very conservatively. 3-4-10 jack. We're going to make the call. We get 6-3-9 on the flop. Nothing too exciting here. But again, I'm almost tempted to start really regularly putting pressure. You know what? I'm gonna put pressure on because they're not continuing without the quote-unquote goods. The turn gave us nothing, and I think we're done with this hand, but we are going to check. And we get a check back. The river is an 8. I have no showdown value here to speak of. So I'm just going to check. I'm going to surrender this hand. I would like to at least see what the opponent has. So if they check back, I'll at least know what they were operating with and made the flop call with. King 4-5-3. So they did it with a diamond draw. Okay. So that was actually useful information to have. They will call continuation bet. So here we have a really great spot. We have the second low, and we have a steel wheel draw if that 3 of diamonds comes out. So we're going to keep applying pressure here. Going to keep that pressure up. And we should be betting a lot here, whether we have it or not, because I feel like we're going to be looking to take advantage of our opponent playing too tight heads up. Here we have ace 4, 5, 10. Excellent starting hand once again. And we get a call. We're going to make a raise here. Let's apply some pressure pre-flop. Let's see what they do. And they fold. Look at that. We get the fold. So now I feel like we should actually be going to the point. We should start doing some pre-flop raising here. 5, 8, 9, 10. But we'll do it selectively. We'll do it when we legitimately have a nice starting hand. 3, Jack 7. So that's a wrap, a straight wrap. So again, we're just going to keep pouring the pressure on here. And we get the fold. So just like that, we now have 400 and they have 300. Again, you know, the blind's so high that anything could happen in one hand, but I think that's going to be our key. And again, another limp in. 3-6-6-8 we have. 7 Jack Queen. We have no piece of that whatsoever. So again, I'm not going to be reckless here. I'm not going to try and like steal every pot. And we get the check back. And now we turn a straight draw. A week's low draw and a straight draw. So you know what? Let's put the pressure on here. Let's put the pressure on. And we get the fold. Wow. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So we're at 416 now versus 273. 3-6-7 Jack. We're going to complete. And we get the check back 5-3-8. So we've got a nice straight draw as well here. So and they lead out, and we're going to call. I want to see a turn here. 4. So we have the best straight. There are no flush draws out there. There are no paired boards, so we are going to apply maximum pressure here. We are going to raise it and all in, and we're going to call. We have the 6-7. They have the 6-2. So it looks like we are going to have a chop pot. So there's a little excitement there. There's a little excitement. 2-6-9-10 we have in the big blind. And we get a little raise here. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna make the call because I want to see the flop. I want to see what happens on the flop here. We get Jack 10-5. So here's a spot. We have the 9 high flush, right? There are 3 cards in the deck: Queen, King, or Ace. They have to have a Queen, King, or Ace of spades that's suited in order for us to be in trouble here. It's heads up. We're gonna get a little bet here. And I feel like we're going to make the call. And if the turn card is a high card, which it is, and it's not, so there's no low possible. So I really like our spot. And I am going to put some pressure on to make a bet. I really like our hand here. And we get the fold. So there you go. We applied that pressure. And now we've got them in a spot where it's 478 to 211. King 10-9-3. And we get Ace 6-4 on this flop. And now this is another one I feel like we might be able to steal, because for that to really connect, they have to have a lot of low cards that they probably should have raised. Oh, but hold on. Hold the phone. And now they let out for the pot. Yeah, we're going to let that one go. They obviously have something there. So that's an easy one. We're certainly not going to bluff a tight player in this spot. That's not going to be happening. 3-5-6 Jack. And we get a raise. So, okay, it looks like they're shifting gears. They're shifting gears now, and they're applying some pressure. So that changes a little bit how we look at this. It could be they're just getting a rush of cards, but sometimes these are more likely than not a player that's starting to realize it's time to apply some pressure. Ace Jack 4 and a flop, crappy low draw and a gut shot to the Ace High straight, and wow, leading right out. Look at that. Okay, so there is officially aggression being shown here. So this is a player that is tired of getting pushed around and is pushing back. 2-5-5-6 in the big blind. And we got to check and see a flop of 7-8-2. We have a straight draw. And we're gonna kind of sit back and see what's going on here with our opponent's headspace. The 3 comes on the turn, so there's 2 flush draws out there. We're gonna make a little bet here and see where they're at. And we get the fold. Okay. So we're back to 436 to 253. 3-5-6 King is the next hand that we have. And let's see here. 5-7-9 comes down on the flop. Let's see what the opponent does here. They're thinking about maybe taking a stab at this. Yeah, 20-second time bank. Okay, so they have something. I'm going to check back here. Okay, so king on the turn, so we have 2 pair. But again, there can be straights out there. There's flush draws out there. I'm going to be a little conservative here and check back. The king on the river, so now we have a full house. The only things that beat us here are king 7 or king 9. I'm not worried about that. So we're going to apply pressure here. And we get the call. What does the opponent have? 2, 3, 3, 8. That's interesting. Very interesting call there. It was almost like they wanted to look us up. We'll check. We have the second best flush on the flop. Again, heads up, I'm not going to be worried. The only thing that I'm worried about is a suited ace of spades. And even then, you know, they can bluff me with an ace of spades that isn't suited. So yeah, suffice to say, as I'm saying, in that spot, I wasn't folding. If they have got a suited ace of spades, then, you know, God bless them. But 3, 3, 6, 6. They wouldn't have been able to knock me off my hand at that point. And we get a raise. This is a weird, tricky spot. They're kind of in trouble here. I'm gonna take a stab because if I can get a good piece of this, we got a set, medium set. They have 95,000 chips left. We're obviously calling. We're hoping that they don't get a low. They probably have a low draw, so we're hoping for high cards here. That will win us the tournament. For the tournament, can we get 2 high cards? We need. And of course they immediately get the 5, so they've got the save, so to speak. So it's a chop pot. They did have the aces, and they were looking for a low draw. So ace 4, king 9. That's another super strong hand here. Let's see what the flop comes down. 6, 9, jack. Another second best flush. So again, we're going to continue to try and put pressure. And we get the raise, and we're going to get them all in. If they got a suited ace of spades, they get doubled up. But otherwise, we're well ahead. So let's see what we've got here. What do they have? Do they have it? They have it. No, they have a lesser. They have a lesser straight, and they do not get the straight flush on the river. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to announce we have won the tournament. First place, we have won the tournament. We were down to basically being done, and we won. So there you go. Wow, that was exciting. Hey, leave a comment below if you thought you could play a hand a little differently, or I should have played a hand a little differently. Of course, like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. It certainly helps the channel grow. We'll see you next time for some more poker action.